Welcome back, MK Army, to the next microeconomics lesson. Today, we're going to be learning about elasticities. Let's begin. So what is elasticity of demand? It is the responsiveness of the quantity demanded to change in price. If you take a look at this formula, we see it is the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. And so there are three different types of elasticities. We can have price elastic, price inelastic, and unitary elastic demand. The first one, if we take a look at price elastic demand, for this one, we have elasticity that the absolute value of elasticity will be greater than 1. And so if we take a look at the graph, we see that first of all, the slope is not very steep, as the change in price will result in a significant change in quantity, in quantities demanded. So often you can associate elastic goods, those that have many substitutes, and those that are luxury goods, for example. So let's take, for instance, Domino's and Pizza Hut, since those are two substitutes. For instance, if the price for Domino's significantly increases, for instance, from P2 to P1, our quantity demanded will be even more significant, so it will decrease from Q2 to Q1, as now consumers will be by ordering more from Pizza Hut because the price for Domino's is now much higher. So we say that in this case, our demand is price elastic. In the case of price inelastic, it's the opposite. First of all, we see that the curve is very steep, and that's because our elasticity is less, our absolute value of elasticity is less than 1, so it's between 0 and 1. So in this case, an example could be necessities. So necessities such as sugar, water, salt, those you buy on a daily basis and without which you cannot survive. So our change in quantity will be very little. So even if the price for sugar increases, you will still keep buying sugar. So our quantity demand will not be impacted as much. So we say it's demand inelastic. And lastly, unitary elastic, that simply means that our elasticity equals to 1, the absolute value. And that means that we have a proportionate change in price and a proportionate change in quantity demanded. So our slope will be -1, or absolute value 1 of this demand curve. Now, looking at other demand elasticities, we have income elasticity, which shows the relationship between income and quantity demanded. So it's the percentage change quantity demanded over percentage change in income. And the angle curve helps to visualize it, to represent it. So we can see that, as actually we talked briefly about it in session 1, and check it out if you haven't already. If our income increases and our demand for a certain good decreases, that means that we have an inferior good, and this is shown by this portion of the angle curve from the top. So there's a negative relationship. In this case, our income elasticity will be also negative. On the other hand, if it's positive, then we have a normal good. So as our income rises, our quantity demanded also rises. So, and this is represented by the downward proportion of the angle curve. Lastly, looking at cross-price elasticity of them, in this case, it helps to see whether two goods are substitutes or complements. And so it's shown, and looking at this formula, it's the percentage change in quantity demanded of good 1 over percentage change in price of good 2. So as our price of, for instance, for Costa rises and our quantity demanded for Starbucks also rises, so we see that the change is positive. We have a positive relationship, and so those are two substitutes. So if our cross-price elasticity you see is positive, immediately you can say, okay, those are substitutes. And the opposite for complements, if our cross-price elasticity is negative, that means we have complements. So as the price of good 2, for instance, and in this case, it's iPhones, rises, our quantity our change in quantity demanded for a good 1, and in this case is iPhone cases, decreases. That means we have a negative relationship. We see a negative slope, and those are complements. And so we see it's, in this example, it's our cross-price elasticity -6. So we can say it's those two goods are complements. Lastly, looking at elasticity of supply, similar to demand, it's the responsiveness of the quantity supplied to a change in price. If we look at the formula, it's the percentage change in quantity supplied over percentage change in price. And just like for demand, we can see by looking at the different slopes of these supply curves, the more so as your slope becomes steeper, we have more inelastic supply, and so in this case, it's price inelastic if it's less than 1, our price elasticity, and if it's greater than 1, it's price elastic, so the slope is not as steep here. And just like for demand, if it's unitary elastic, the slope is 1, so our change in quantity supplied and price is proportionate. Thank you for watching. Check out the rest of our videos and drive for more exercises and more detailed notes. And if you have any questions at any point, slide into our DMs, so we'll answer them. And thank you for watching. See you in the next one.